Hi, Pascal. The team during the season has seen a lot of five in the back, three in the back, and there's been some challenges with that for the most part. But against Toronto, it seemed like things were a little bit better. Is it more about figuring it out little by little, and the team understanding the concept of playing against that sort of system, or what is it that sort of clicked in the game?
That's a good question. I think what you saw in Toronto is when we have everybody available from the start, we are able to have the quality players, especially in the middle of the pitch, and understand where we are and what we're trying to achieve against these different shapes. The moment that Alonso doesn't play, Muncev comes on, has different qualities. When Keats is not available, we have to put somebody else on with different qualities. But they have a huge impact on the team. And what you see when everybody's available from the start and we understand well enough what we're looking for in these type of games, then we have more control as in other games.
We had Andres Perea here,
Yeah.
Pepe to you.
Yeah.
And he's fully fit now. He says he can go 90. But how do you see him fitting in the team? What do you think are his best qualities and his best position in your system?
I'm very happy that Pep is available again, because it's taken him a while to catch up with the rest of the team. His best qualities, I think, are movement off the ball. He has good timing of the runs behind the defense. He can arrive in the box as well and get those goals from starting from the second line, if you will, and staying attached to the attackers even more. So in a more offensive role, having the connection with the number 9 in particular. He can handle himself in tight areas as well as a midfield player, but his movement off the ball is one of his strong qualities, if you ask me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll go to the Zoom. Michael?
Hi, Coach. Michael Allen from Pro Soccer and Blue City Radio.
Hi, Michael.
Sunday starts the beginning of a brutal month of May with 8 games in the month. I'm just wondering if you're giving any thought to how much you anticipate rotating the starting squad, especially when it looks to a game like Pittsburgh on midweek, after this Sunday's game.
Yeah, I expected that question, especially with these games coming up in a tough month ahead. But let me make very clear, we're looking forward to this month, because this is what you live for as a player, playing as many games as you can. So that's one. Rotating players within the squad is something that is always in the back of my mind, but we take it a game at a time. So first it's Cincinnati. Once Cincinnati is finished, then we'll think about the next one. And that's going to continue for the rest of the season, and especially this month coming up with 8 games. And if we do proceed in the Cup, it's going to be 9.
Alex?
Hi, Pascal. This is Alex Winley from AM New York. How's it going?
Hi, Alex.
Keaton Parks was just named Player of the Month for April. How important is a player like Keaton to your squad, especially considering his experience, technical quality, and leadership on and off the pitch? Thanks.
Yeah, as I mentioned to Roberto just now, he's a very important player for us, a very important piece. You see when he's on the pitch, our midfield is in a better place. We have a better shape, we have better control. Keats is developing himself into that player that really recognizes the moments where he needs to be in possession, a little lower sometimes than in previous seasons. We're still working on his movement forward and arriving in the box, which is one of his qualities as well. So he's a very important piece for us because he brings a lot of stability in our team.
Andrew?
Hi, I'm Andrew Lee with Hudson River Blue.
Hi, Andrew.
Another midfielder-related question. You recently signed Aiden O'Neill. I wanted to ask what sort of his attributes and his background made him the right fit and the sort of player that you really wanted to add to your midfield.
Yeah, well, you see the guys that are available for our midfield are a few. We have Keats, we have Johnny Perea, we have Maxi, We have Justin also being one of the flexible players that can play in midfield. But knowing the fact that we have so many games in a season, we have to be able to keep the quality and the standards really high, and that is something that Aiden is going to give us. He has a very high standard, European skilled as well, and he has, I would say, attributes from every phase in play. So he can connect from build-up phases, he can play box to box. What he's working on and what we're going to continue working on when he arrives here is to have a higher outcome in the final third, so the assist and also making goals. That is something that he's really looking forward to. And as I said, he has very high standards, and that shows also in his game out of possession, because his work rate and energy level is from a very high standard. So I'm very happy that he's joining our dressing room.
Can I just ask, do you have any idea about the timeline for him actually arriving? Because you mentioned when he arrives. I just was wondering, I know it's a visa thing, but like, do you have sort of an expectation of inside the team, like when he might be able to join up?
Well, if I had something to say about that, I hope tomorrow.
We'll go with Chris.
Hey, Coach. Chris Campbell from the outfield. Building on that, you've had Keaton Parks play a bit deeper so far this year. Now you're bringing in Aiden O'Neill. How do you see that impacting Keaton's positional play as well as the rest of the midfield in terms of where they're playing on the pitch and minutes going forward? Thanks.
Yeah, well, what we're looking for is to have a midfield play as fluid as possible, recognizing the areas where you need to be, creating difficult situations and decision making for the opponent. As I mentioned just now, Aiden is a very energetic player. He moves a lot, has the quality to play box to box, but also can control, making sure that he links up with build-up phases. So this gives us another opportunity to have a strong middle part of the pitch, and also making sure that we sustain high quality in midfield whenever one of the other quality players is not available.
Oliver?
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue.
Hi, Oliver.
Hi, I've got a question about your use of substitutes. In the two most recent games, you used 5 over the course of the 10 games this season. You're averaging 4 subs a game. And I'm wondering, is this a reflection of your approach in that, you believe in taking full advantage of the substitutions available to you? Or is this what this team needs right now? You're subbing off players because you want those fresh players on the pitch.
Yeah, that's a really good question. It has to do with both the suggestions you make. We have very high standards in training, so I see a lot during the week, players that really challenge each other in order to get game time. But above all, I always take the game that we play in my approach and look at what the team needs at what moment in the game. So in our situation, we have a few guys that are able to play in very specific positions. And if you look at the games, sometimes the attack needs a different impulse to create a different impact. So I'm very, very happy that I have the availability of several profiles within the squad, so I can use them to the best of the team's advantage.
Michael Andrew.
Pascal, Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time.
Hi, Mike.
The wingers that you've chosen to start games or play games, they've struggled to put defenses under pressure to cause those turnovers, despite the fact that you're pressing a lot. What's your approach? How are you going to fix that situation?
Well, that is something that we're working on a daily basis, Michael. So you have to take in consideration guys like Agu and Juli are still very young, and in their first spell of playing a few games in a row, also to make sure that they can show their qualities, which they do have. On the other hand, I agree, the impact of our wingers hasn't been that big yet, but that is something that they're working on every day. And as I said to your colleague just now, I see them train every day, and it's just a matter of time. Give these guys a little time and make sure they get settled in and they will have the impact that we all expect them to have.
Michael Allen, you have another one?
I sure do. Yeah, looking forward to this Sunday, just the game planning against Cincinnati. They've got a really dynamic midfielder in Evander. You've played against some really good midfielders already in MLS so far. How do you balance keeping that identity going forward, like you were just talking about, as on the offense, and also neutralizing a player like Evander?
Yeah, interesting. Making sure we emphasize our own quality and our own principles, especially when we're in possession, and creating a lot of discipline when we are out of possession. Of course, we've analyzed this team and we know they have good players, and he is one of them. But just making sure that we are aware of his behavior in the previous matches will help us prepare ourselves in order to be in a good shape, especially when we have the turnovers or when we're out of possession. Creating that discipline with players that like to have the ball, like Maxi, Keats, and Johnny, that is always the challenge. But so far, they're handling themselves quite well.
Final one, we'll go with Chris.
Hey, Coach, Chris Campbell from the outfield.
Hi, Chris.
I'm just wondering if you can give us an update on any injury statuses. I know Micha Lenish missed last game. What's his availability for Sunday, and is there any other injuries for Sunday? Thanks.
Yeah. Well, Micha is going forward. He's been training partially with us today and the previous days. So he's going forward. Unfortunately, he will not be part of the roster going into the game for Sunday. And unfortunately, we lost Kevin O'Toole coming out of the Toronto game. So those are the two guys that will not be available apart from Malachi.